Sairam. So we are walking into the concept of part of geometry called coordinate geometry. This coordinate geometry is given in 3 different years, 8th, 9th and 10th. So you are in 9th in between the 10th and 8th. So you already know how the point should be located on the graph sheet. And suppose a point is already located, how to find its coordinates is already learned by you. Then few more things you learn. Before that, this generation students always will have a curiosity, what is the practical application of this coordinate geometry in our life? Why is it given in 3 different years of our academic syllabus? Let's look into some 2-3 day-to-day application parts of this particular thing. Not exactly x and y coordinate thing, but it's a little more complicated based on the coordinates of geometry. So understand, coordinates means you have to have like x coordinate and y coordinate. And what this geometry stands for? Geo stands for, tell me, geo stands for? Yes, geo stands for globe, earth. Metry stands for, that is measurement on earth. So if you are dealing something measuring on earth, so it's a geometry. So then coordinates, that you have to have certain x and y coordinates are different as you go to different dimensions, 3 dimensions and all, you'll have different coordinates. So now we are dealing with limiting with only 2 dimensions, that is x and y. So that is horizontal and vertical. So now look into the concept of, you are asking your friend to meet you at a certain point and you are in certain point and you share your WhatsApp location. So how your friend is going to locate that you are in exactly that particular location? Yes, of course, using a Google map. So how that Google map functions based on a different technology. What the technology is? Yes, of course, it is GPS technology. What is GPS? Global Positioning System. So how that works? It's a bit complicated. Let me give you a taste of it so that you can see the videos in YouTube, so that you will get to know what is that. Like you need some 4 satellites. Satellites work with a precise clock called atomic clock, most probably cesium atomic clock or so. So very huge costly clocks which are very precise to the core. So those clocks will send some 4 signals. First one forms a sphere, second satellite forms another sphere, third satellite forms another sphere. Interaction of all the 3 spheres will give you location, but in between the 4th satellite also makes the precision of that particular point where you are standing. What happens if are we using correct mobiles and laptops? Our time in laptops and mobiles are correct? Most probably or definitely no. Why? Because these clocks are all based on the crystal quartz clocks. So they have a lot of deviation from the original timing. Suppose if you want to get a precise timing, it should be atomic clock, where $50,000 to $1 lakh you have to spend on one mobile GPS atomic clock, which is impossible to have it in a mobile. So come back to the technology, come back to the lesson, and here in a textbook, NCERT textbook goes with one of the examples. Like you have got example, we'll take Malleshwaram is the place in Bangalore. So you are supposed to find your friend. So where you find your friend? You're going to find maybe 4th block, 10th road, 9th house. So then you go first, find how many blocks are there, where is the 4th block. After finding the 4th blocks, how many roads are there in 4th block? By chance you have some 15, 16 roads, and 10th road. And then when you walk into that road, 9th house. So that makes you precisely locate the friend's house, without which hunting with a friend's house, just door number is a difficult thing. Here is another application. One more regular thing that you face in your daily examination, any examination, is the seating allotment. The moment seating allotment is displayed on a board, which classroom first you get to know. In that particular classroom, how many rows of benches are there and where your place is. So these are all the part of understanding application of coordinate geometry. Let's walk into the lesson itself. So understanding location. So understanding location means, I already said to you what a location is. That is, you are precisely looking at a part of place where you wanted to reach. Then locating a point on a number line and locating a point on a plane. What is a plane? Let's discuss little about the plane. For example, this TV screen is a plane and a sheet of paper is a plane. That plane is a limited plane. But in geometry, the moment you are speaking of plane, it's infinitely spreading in all directions with the same plane. So on that plane, if you want to pinpoint, for example, you are sending a satellite to Mars, you have to launch a satellite on a Mars or a lunar project, that is, you are landing a satellite on the moon. Then you require precise point where you wanted to land. It shouldn't be a hill, it shouldn't be a terrain, it shouldn't be a water body. So you will plan and precisely place it. So that is a plane. So in a plane, how to locate a point. Next is plane, dividing plane into quadrants. So you got a plane, big plane, but you require to, we'll see in next slide that. Next is understanding abscissa and ordinate. You're going to get two technical terms, abscissa and ordinate. So you have to understand what abscissa stands for and ordinate stands for. Let us see in next slide. So I'm just taking the concept as a concept and then bringing and superimposing this concept on a graph sheet. So first I'm handling single dimension, that is one dimension thing, that is length. Example, I am here in Chikballapur. Say suppose I am in Chikballapur and I am supposed to go to Bangalore. So distance I ask, I will not ask the area between the Chikballapur and Bangalore. For example, I am in Gulbarga, as that is our campus, that is Navanihala. Gulbarga I need to reach, I will ask only distance, one dimension. So length is only one dimension. So then you have got the length between the two places, that is single dimension thing. And usually, suppose if you want to know, you can draw a number line. You can go positive side, you can go to the negative side, and this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. And exactly what is the distance, how many kilometers or what is the distance you can find. But the moment you switch over to the two-dimensional things like area, in area you are supposed to locate, say suppose I am supposed to locate a point there. How do I locate? So with a single line I cannot help locating that point. What do? I take another number line. For your convenience I am telling it is not actually number line. Another number line perpendicular to this number line. Then what will happen? I have got a plane. This plane covers the entire plane. For example, you may get a doubt like, why can't we take a plane like this? Because this is sufficient to locate the point on a plane. But think, a smart student than you will ask, what if, suppose the entire thing is a plane, what if I get a point here, how do I calculate that? And suppose what if I get a point here? So that is the reason I am taking perpendicular lines. Anywhere in the plane, I can locate a point. So come back. Here, the moment you draw like this, here also you have 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have to write 1, 2, 3, 4 positive above. Here positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, dash, dash, dash. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, dash, dash, dash. You get a negative numbers below. And then by chance, suppose here I will draw one few more lines I draw. And I am supposed to locate this particular point. Draw a line, just descend that line and join that line to the left side. So if I straightly perpendicularly join that line to the both the directions, then I am going to get what is my distance from x-axis, that is the horizontal line, and distance from y-axis. Now you know the familiarity, you are already familiar with the axis as x-axis and y-axis. But most of you sometimes, even I have seen, even in the 10th final exam place also, they will make mistake of understanding and identifying the axis and how to write. Very simple. Any line you take, say suppose this is a line. If you want to name the whole line, you can always name with a small letter. For example, I can call this as a line L, or I can call it as a line M, line N, line P, any small letter I need to use. And by chance, if I am supposed to represent a point, for example, I have got a line, this line's name is line L, and I need to represent 2 points. Tell me what is the name? A, B I have to name. I should never use representing a point with a small letter, I should always use a capital letter. So here goes my A, here goes my B. It need not to be B, it can be PQ, it can be ST, it can be any alphabet. But the moment you are touching a point in geometry, any part of math, a point is always represented by a capital letter. So here like this you represent. So now here in this Cartesian plane, one more name I am using. What is this? This is also this graph plane, perpendicular line plane is also named as Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane is another name of the two lines when you are using this particular pattern. So the moment these two lines are intersecting one particular point, so what actually we are supposed to call it as? We call it as origin. So coordinates of origin are 0, 0 represent always by capital O. You remember that, right? And then if I call this axis, I call this axis as small x axis. That is the name of this particular axis. What is the name? Small x axis. But if I have to represent points on that, then if I come right side, I have to always call capital X, never a small x. When I come back to left side, if I come back here, I should write it as x dash, one small slash on top of the x. That's how you call it as x dash. The moment you go to the vertical axis, so what should you call? Of course, it is y axis. Y axis, small y axis I have written. This whole line I am representing. I am speaking about the whole line, not any point on it. The moment I am asked to find the point on it, here I keep a point and I call it as a capital Y. So that point's name is Y. When I come down this particular point, the point's name is Y dash. Remember, most of the times, even the students of 10th and pre-university also sometimes make mistakes of these basics. Be very clear of these basics. Capital X dash, capital Y dash. This is how you go. So after understanding this, then you have got quadrants. So as we discussed, so we can have this entire plane divided into 4 quarters. So this is the whole thing dividing equally into 4 quarters from the point. Then I go with the anti-clockwise of numbering. This is called first quadrant, this is called second quadrant, this is called third quadrant, this last one is called fourth quadrant. I repeat, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how the quadrants are named. And always positive numbers will come positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, dash, dash, dash. Arrow marks, another important thing. Arrow mark. It's a must to have arrow mark in all 4 directions. Why is it? Because this Cartesian plane or this x and y axis you are developing is not limited to this particular area. They stretch themselves infinitely in either directions. So that is the reason it's a must to have an arrow mark. I've selected one sum for you in one of the sums where I crossed the graph sheet to show you that this arrow marks importance. Understand? So now what are the things that we understood? Quadrant. The quarter, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, we call them as quadrants. Origin. Origin means the midpoint, the point of intersection of both x and y axis. And then axis. So this is small x axis is this horizontal line and small y axis is this vertical line. Next is coordinates. This is the thing that we actually do something with. Say suppose I keep a point here. Now I have to measure its distance from x axis and I have to measure its distance from y axis. So this particular distance I call it as x coordinate and this distance I call it as y coordinate. So these are the coordinates with whose help I can just identify that particular point in whichever quadrant it is. Understood? So then we finish the coordinates and then the whole plane itself is called Cartesian plane. So that's the small introductory basic. Now locating points on a graph, it's a fun, you already played, just will play because as your syllabus demands, we'll go and locate some points. With some logic, I've selected A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. At the end you are supposed to tell me what is my logic. So first is 1, 2. In 1, 2, actually here comma it should be. In 1, 2, what is 1 and what is 2? X coordinate is 1, y coordinate is 2. So slowly remember, so x is 1, this is x axis 1 and y coordinate is 2. Here where I locate a point and call it as point capital A. Next point is 4, 3. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 is here and then 3 should come, 1, 2, 3, positive 3 comes here. This is my second point, I call it as B. Next is C. minus 1 comma 4. So minus 1 is here and positive 4 is here. So I call it as C. Next is minus 3 comma 1. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 comma 1. So this I locate and I call it as D. Next is E is minus 2 comma minus 4. Minus 2 should come in X. Minus 4 should come in Y. So minus 2 and minus 4 if I go, this is my point and I call it as point E. And then F is minus 3 minus 2. So minus 3 here and minus 2 here. This is the point and I call it as point F. And then 1 comma minus 3. So 1 is in positive side, minus 3 comes below. So this is the point I am focusing, which is that point G. Point G. Next is 4 comma minus 2. 4 is in positive side, minus 1 minus 2 is below. So this is the point which I am focusing, that is H. So I said you initially, after finding these points, you are supposed to identify my logic of giving these points. If you see A, B, both the points, both of them are falling in, very good, first quadrant, A and B. And then C and D, if you look, C and D, both of them are falling in which quadrant? Second quadrant. And then E and F, where they are falling? Look, E and F, they are falling in third quadrant. And G and H, where they are falling? Look, fourth quadrant, G and H. And one more important thing you have to observe here is, whenever you are, any point you are representing on first quadrant, always X and Y coordinates are positive, 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 positive. So you remember, so the pattern of numbers plus comma plus, positive number comma positive number, always falls in a first quadrant. And see the pattern of the second quadrant numbers, always X coordinate is negative, minus 1, minus 3, and second number is always positive. The moment you get minus comma plus, this pattern gives you and takes you to the second quadrant. Third quadrant is what? Very good, minus comma minus. So both the numbers always will be minus. When the moment you see both the numbers in with negative sign, it always falls in third quadrant. Fourth quadrant is reverse to the second quadrant. First number is always positive, second number is negative. See the where they'll fall? They'll fall in the fourth quadrant. This pattern is, first one is positive, second one is negative. That's how you get. Clear? So this is how, these are the very, very basics. I revise very quickly. Remember, when you are drawing a graph, putting a point, capital X dash, capital Y dash is must. Arrow marks in all the four directions is also must. And then first, whenever coordinates are given, first you search in X axis and next you search in Y axis. Both positives bring you first quadrant, and here one negative, next positive brings you to second, both negative brings you third, and then positive X and then Y coefficient is negative brings you fourth quadrant. These are the 4 points of memorization. Remember these 4 points and don't forget to represent similar way. So then finding the coordinates of a given points on a graph sheet. So this is once again a known game. It will not take much time and it's a funny game. So go and find the coordinates of A. Finish in 1 minute, you can finish off. See what is a 3 comma 4. So you can write. So point A, no. First you have to search the point in X axis and then search the Y axis. You know it. Of course I am telling once again, don't confuse. First X and next Y. So 3 comma 4. So 3 comma 4. And come to B. I don't go much elaborated here onwards. So 2 comma 1. So 2 1 and go to the point C. Point C is what should go? First we should go to X axis, minus 4 comma 4. Minus 4 comma 4 and go to the next point D. D is minus 2 3. So minus 2 and 3. And then E. Come to E. E is where, okay. What is first one? Minus 3 and minus 3. Minus 3 and minus 3. Come to F. What is F? Minus 2, minus 2. So minus 2, minus 2. And what is G? So G is first 1 and minus 4. 1 comma minus 4. And F, H you see, this is a 4 comma minus 3. 4 comma minus 3. Here also you can see the pattern. So both the numbers are positive comma positive, negative positive, negative positive, negative negative negative, negative 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 negative, and positive negative positive negative. First, second, third, fourth quadrant. Quadrants are always with this signs positive. Okay, let me write it here. Positive comma positive comes here. Tell me what comes here? Negative comma positive. What comes here? negative comma negative. What comes here? Positive comma negative. That's how you take the first, second, third, fourth quadrant. Remember, don't neglect, remember clearly and always represent. So, this is finding the quadrant of a of given point on a graph. So, suppose these 2 points, point A and point B, where they are falling? Point A, point B are all falling in first quadrant, and point C and D, where they are falling? In second quadrant, and then point E and F, where they are falling? In third quadrant, and point G and H, where they are falling? In fourth quadrant. So, actually this is the thing I have planned, but I wanted to add little more thing to this same graph and same slide. What is that? Ordinate and abscissa and ordinate. So, the moment new terms come, always both of them are very similar. You confuse what is ordinate and what is abscissa. Most of the times you get confused. And ordinate and abscissa, how easy to remember. I have given this figure, just remember this figure. This is more than sufficient to remember ordinate and abscissa. So, this is abscissa starting with A. Abscissa, A starting with alphabet A. So, it always goes with x-axis. Ordinate, ordinate starts with the alphabet O, always goes with the y-axis. So, starting with x-axis, that is abscissa, and other one is ordinate. So, very easy to remember. Easy to remember. Now, questions, few questions. So, I have given coordinates of point A 1, 2. I am asking find the ordinate. The moment you see the ordinate, what it is? Y coordinate, that is 2 is the ordinate. Simple. Now, once again, abscissa of point D. So, what is abscissa? Abscissa is obviously x coordinate first 1 minus 4. That's it. Here ordinate minus 5. Abscissa 2. Now we are more comfortable with the understanding of abscissa and ordinate. You will never confuse in your life once again what is abscissa, what is ordinate. Abscissa A, right? A comes with x-axis, x coordinate. Ordinate O, alphabet O. It comes after A, correct, in sequence of alphabets. It comes in, it's a y coordinate. That's how you remember this. So, these are the few basics that you are supposed to understand, and then already your homework started. Almost your class is done. Do you believe? That simple is your class. What is the homework that you got? Locate the following points on a graph sheet and specify in which quadrant does the point lie. So, here point A, B, C, D, E, F are given, you have to locate, and there are some tricky things also. I am going to explain this. What is the tricky thing? Point A for that matter 0, 3. 0 is in x-axis, 3 in y-axis, this is the point. Can you answer me what is that point? Where it is in first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant? It actually belongs to both the quadrants. First and second, you will never even tell it is first quadrant or second quadrant. You will tell in different way. So, how do you answer for this question, homework question, because I am not available after giving this video, right? So, then the thing is, you will not tell that it is in any one of the quadrant. You speak with a different language. You tell that it is, this point is on which axis? See, on which axis? On y-axis. This is the answer that you are going to give. It is on y-axis. Then this point, you know, this point, you know, this point, you know. One more tricky point is given. Minus 7, 0. Minus C, minus 7, 0. I said you I am going to tell you the significance of arrows. See, my here number is minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7 comes here. Can I use the same graph? Of course, yes. Why? Because I have given the arrow marks. I can extend it to infinity. There is no limit for that graph. So, this is minus 4, right? So, this is minus 5. So, this is minus 5, this is minus 6, this is minus 7. So, I can easily locate that, and minus 7, 0 means this is the point I am asking. Tell me that point, is it belonging to the third quadrant, second quadrant, or third quadrant? You cannot tell. So, that is the reason. See where it is falling actually, where it is lying on x-axis. So, here your answer would be what? On x-axis. So, I have already solved 2 of the questions which are supposed to solve as a homework. Then you are supposed to define the following terms. So, abscissa, ordinate, origin, quadrants, you are supposed to give a definition. You may wonder, he did not explain and he did not give the definitions, and he is asking. It's very basic thing. The understanding part of it I have given. Here I have given a link. All of you know this link, http:// www.kcl KTVS, Karnataka textbooks, car.nic.in, then just type as it is. In a mobile also you can download your complete textbook. The moment you download the textbook, how do you download? First you get a class, which class it is. Next you get a medium, English medium, and in beginning of the video only I have given part first book or second book. So see and select the second one and download the full textbook, and here where you find the definitions and fill your assignment with the definitions. Next, one more page of homework. This homework is much more comfortable homework. By observing the graph, write the following. That is, once again, see what I am asking. The coordinates of point C. So wherever point C, that point A, B, C. Can you see? This is point A. And this is point B. I am making it big so that you can see in the mobile. And this is point C. This is point C. And this is point D. These are the points which I have given. So you are supposed to find the coordinates of these particular points. And last, I have given one more thing, that is the point identified by the coordinates. So these are the coordinates of one particular point. It refers to which particular points. I have given few more points here. I have given E also here, F also here. So which particular point is referred by -5, 2? -5, 2. You know that answer is answer B. So that's how, this is what your homework is. So all the best, finish your homework in time. See you next video. Sai Ram.